Hi, I'm Atomicus from OWKings.com, and today I'll talk about Pharah on Hollywood. Anything in terms of attack and defense, from team compositions to different engagement angles and whatnot. Keep in mind that this video was initially made before Pharah received the new changes, but everything still applies regardless. As of yet, Pharah works against certain compositions, primarily ones that don't have that many hit-scan heroes such as McCree, Widowmaker, and Soldier 76. We're going to start off as defense. In terms of your composition, having a Mercy boosts the damage output of a Pharah a lot, and if she pockets you, your potential for dealing with the hit-scan heroes grows, especially if they can't burst you down in time. Zenyatta can also work as long as you have the Harmony Orb on you most of the time. However, in this situation you would have to play slightly more passive and not be able to afford an aggressive playstyle most of the time. The general advice as Pharah is to always shoot as many rockets as possible through a choke point, and if they do have a Reinhardt, try breaking the shield together with your team or aim for different angles so you can hit someone behind the shield. Sure, the enemy will get defensive ultis faster, but you're also getting yours, and you're applying pressure to the enemy with the potential of picking someone off straight away before a team fight. In terms of positions, for this point in particular, we have the balcony, the cafe, and the platform above the elevator. You can also fly above the choke point, potentially landing some killing blows if the enemy is not careful, while also scouting what the enemy is doing. You can also use the roofs to glide around this point and flank the enemy with ease. Basically, you should navigate between those spots depending on where the enemy is heading and where your key targets are located. In terms of verticality, you should always stay airborne as much as possible, except when they have hit-scan heroes. In these situations, the best thing to do would be to swap to a different hero. However, you can first test the potential of the enemy players to see if they can actually kill you in time. If you have a Mercy or a Harmony Orb on you, if the enemy cannot burst you down in time, you'll regenerate your HP between shots, allowing you to stay alive and potentially killing the key targets, such as a McCree. Ideally, your target should be the support heroes or the heroes that contest you. During engagements, you can use your Concussion Blast to speed yourself towards one of these targets to try to take them by surprise and finish them off fast before they can pose any threat towards you or your team. Ulti-wise, the best combos for Pharah's Barrage is Zarya's Graviton and Reinhardt's Earthshatter. You can still use the Barrage to kill key targets as fast as possible if you manage to sneak around them and take them by surprise. For the second point, the most important thing here is the high ground, therefore your priority is holding these spots as much as possible, since they will give you a big advantage against the enemy team if they cannot contest you properly. For the last point, your job is once again to stick to the high ground and deny these flanking paths to the enemy. If you are not contested, then you can easily abuse the high ground here and punish the enemy team by flanking them from above and even use a barrage when they commit past the gateway. Since the corridors here are small, you shouldn't have any problems winning fights. However, if they do commit more than one hero to deal with you, you can regroup with the rest of your team and support each other depending on the situation at hand. After you respawn, you should always take the left path as it's the closest to the high ground. You can also use the van to get a small height advantage when you're being heavily pushed towards your spawn. Before we continue to the attacking side, my last advice here is to navigate between this corner and the walls above the gateway, as the enemy will have a hard time to shoot at you without exposing themselves. Alright, so on attack, not a lot of things change. Your priority will still be the high ground. The difference here is that you'll have to contest that from the enemy team instead of just starting with that advantage off the bat. There's two ways you can do this. Aggressively, with a dive composition, with heroes such as Winston and Genji, then going straight for the heroes that counter you, like McCree. The passive way of pushing is by breaking the enemy's shields, if they have any, and apply as much pressure as possible with some possible killing blows in between. Remember that you can use your Concussion Blast to help yourself reach any key targets much faster. This helps a lot when you're on the attacking side. So yeah, basically everything that you're trying to hold when you're on the defending team, you're trying to contest right now on the attacking side. Hollywood is a strong map for Pharah as there's plenty of open space for her to fly around, especially on the second point of the map. I hope that you have learned some new things about Pharah from this guide. Have a good one.